This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good afternoon, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Tim Daniel, and on today's show, we're going to dive into, the Reds blowing a game they really should have won against the Cleveland Guardians today, 6-5. And we're going to discuss all fun things, including Sam Moll being terrible, the Reds letting one slip away, Chase Burns struggling, and Sal Stewart also being awesome. We'll dive into all of that on this episode that is brought to you by our friends over at Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. Here we go.
Uh-oh, somebody messed up, and it's time to let them know with Who Fudged Up.
Who fudged up, do you ask? Sam Moll. At what point do we just decide that Sam Moll is not worthy of being on the big league roster anymore? Because he's just not good. And today, he was also not good. So he has an ending out there. He is brought in to get out two lefties, and he can't get either of them out. He fields a sacrifice ball and just sacrifice on a screen bunt by Brian Rocchio, which was a great bunt. Don't take anything away from Rocchio. And just watches. It's just, I understand Chase Stewart got a great break, but if you're brought in as the lefty specialist to get lefties out and you don't get lefties out, what purpose do you serve this team? In your last 30 games, you have a 5.19 ERA. You have a 1.46 whip. It gets worse as we break this down. In his last 15 games, a 1.82 whip and a 7.1 ERA. Oh, and it gets worse in his last 7, a 9 ERA with a 2.2 whip. In his last 7 appearances, he has only pitched 5 innings. Now, this is not very good on the likes of one Mr. Moll. And I understand the Reds, but here's the thing about it that I don't understand. And this is not just completely rate on him. But the Reds have other lefties in their bullpen are pretty good. I understand they used Brock Burke in the 6th inning after Chase Burns got pulled. We'll talk about Burns here in a second. But I think I'm more worthy with Caleb Ferguson there than I am Sam Moll. And Sam Moll now is a situation where this is a guy who last year had to battle his way back to the big leagues. This is a guy that this year kind of was had a really nice start to the year, and it's just been awful since. The Reds aren't going anywhere with him being your lefty specialist. I hate to say it. It is what it is, but it's frustrating there. So this was a game where, look, I understand they're down 4-0. They have to come back and make a really good comeback. Probably should have won the game, which honestly they should have won the game. And then, and I understand you can come in here, you can be like, but, Jose Ramirez makes those 2 steals and scores a run, which was awesome, by the way. Shout out Jose Ramirez for being awesome. But this is one that it happens, I just feel like we're constantly talking about this with Sam Moll. Again, if I'm going to talk about the fact that Chase Burns is 12-1 and I don't care about pitcher wins, I don't really care about pitcher losses whatsoever either. But being 1-7 with a 4.43 is pretty telling. It's pretty telling. Now, we try to see if we can salvage tonight's game in the doubleheader in a bullpen day, but we'll see how it goes there. One guy who wasn't his best self was Chase Burns.
Since hindsight is always 20/20, let's deliver today's second guess.
All right, so Chase Burns today was certainly not his best self. Now, the good news is only one of those runs is earned in the 5 he gave up. The bad news is he gave up a grand slam in the 4th inning, in the 1st inning to Kyle Manzardo, and the Reds had to battle back. And they did. They played really well for most of this game. This game comes down to Jose Ramirez stealing 2nd and 3rd and coming in on a sac fly. And I see a comment here from Philip that says that's unacceptable. Jose Ramirez is awesome. If he's going to make a play, I'm not going to be shocked by anything he does. I know he's had a down year offensively, but that's a dude who just watched his team give up a 4-run lead and was like, nope, not letting it happen. I wish the Reds had more guys who would do that. I'm not going to say it was unacceptable for Burns. I'm going to say Jose Ramirez made a hell of a play. And guess what? He made 2 hell of a plays back to back. That dude is elite. Even in down years, he still finds a way to be elite in games. But back to Burns. it certainly wasn't his best day, but I really liked how he kind of buckled down for the next couple innings. You know what else I really loved? Was when he came out of the game, he was pissed. That tells me everything I need to know about this guy as a competitor. That tells me everything I need to know about how much this guy cares about his craft. That tells me everything I need about where this guy stands as far as being the ace of this team, because he is. So for him to just go in there, chuck his glove down, show that he was mad at the world because he gave up the lead, I'm going to love everything about that dude. So, like I said, 1 earned run in 5 innings. You'll take that any day of the week. It just so happens that the errors that they had, particularly Edwin Arroyo, I should say the error they had from Edwin Arroyo, kind of cost them there. And 2, you look at the weird thing with Manzardo. So they have the ball that they think is a hit. It's a hit by pitch. Think it's going to be 1-0. They reverse it, and then he hits a grand slam. That's just bad luck at that point, right? That's going to happen to you. It stinks. It's frustrating, but it's just bad luck at that rate. So I'm not really worried about Burns. We'll see him probably again in the Pittsburgh series later this weekend. I haven't looked to see the pitching matches just yet in that series, but overall, it was an exciting baseball game. They just didn't pull it off. But you know who was really exciting today was Sal Stewart. Had an unbelievable day, and we're going to talk about Sal right after this. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before every pitch. Sometimes it's a hitter who's been on a hot streak, a favorable pitching matchup, or even a ballpark that tends to give up home runs. Those are always the first things to look for before making your Daily Dingers pick. There are certain players when every at-bat feels like something big could happen. That's what makes Daily Dingers fun. You get to back the player you think is ready to go deep that day. So are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Kalshi. On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade on every single game. Say you're looking ahead to tomorrow night when the Reds look to clinch the series against the Guardians, and you have the Reds right now currently at 47% trading for a win, which means if you put $100 on the Reds to trade, you can win out at $205.14 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading as peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade 25. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything, and literally they mean anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, go see kalshi.com/regulatory. Thank you all again for spending some time with me this afternoon, and I will be back tonight for the second part of this doubleheader between the Reds and the Guardians, but tonight, this afternoon, kind of a bummer. Fun game, just didn't go their way, but if you're already an everydayer, why don't you go ahead and join the step up your everydayer game by joining the Everydayer Club. Go to LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer or LockedOnReds.supercast.com. You get access to ad-free episodes of all your favorite Locked On shows, and you get our Discord chat as well, as we're all in there talking ball, and we want to talk ball with all of you. How about Sal Stewart today with another excellent game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Hey, look, here's the thing. This has not been a fun year. We all know this. This is a little bit of a disappointing loss, sure. I will take this game any day of the week if they lose by 1 run and they have this, just played as well as they did on the road trip compared to what we were dealing with. If they lose this game 6-1, we're having a whole different story here, but you were excited. They made a heck of a run at it. And if Chase Burns, if Jose Ramirez doesn't do something incredible, might be having a whole different conversation here. And this is an extremely fun postcast. So I'm not overtly concerned with this game. I think there's worse ways you can lose baseball games. And the way this team has lost games all year, we've seen it. But today, Sal Stewart did everything possible to not lose that game. He was awesome. 2 for 3, 3 runs batted in, 2 walks, a run scored himself, got Ellie to score from first base on a that was pretty cool to see. Miss seeing that as well. But for Sal Stewart today, just continues to put up this great run at the Rookie of the Year award. And I understand that the WAR is going to come in the conversation here, and JJ Weatherholt's WAR is much higher than Sal Stewart's. And I'm normally like, WAR means a lot. I'm a guy who believes in it. I'm a guy who uses it for example. I'm a guy who loves using it in like articles or podcasts, so on and so forth. Sal Stewart is the first argument I've ever had against WAR, where you're like, okay, Weatherholt does this better than him. Weatherholt's on a significantly better team right now. I don't know, maybe that's probably lying. They're probably not significantly better at this point. But for him, that's like the only thing he has on Stewart. Stewart's kind of been better everywhere else. Weatherholt's obviously a better fielder. He plays shortstop for a reason. That's going to come into play as well. But this is the year that Sal Stewart just should be the Rookie of the Year. And he's probably not going to be. And I'm going to be very annoyed when he's not. But today he was awesome and he proved that he should be the guy. He's an 813 OPS. He's a National League All-Star. Crown that guy Rookie of the Year. He certainly earned it. So I'm just going to leave it there and we'll kind of roll with it as well. Let's go ahead and close this out with what we're going to be talking about, which is they let that one go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Look, at the end of the day, they're sellers. That's what they are at the deadline. That's what they should be at the deadline. It is what it is. But I still want to enjoy good baseball as much as I possibly can. And we just saw them have this great road trip coming out of the All-Star break. They went 6-9. They win all 3 series. They played really well. They were fun. Today was still fun. They didn't win, but it was fun. And it's a team that I can have fun losses on occasion. That's not what I want to live my life up to by any stretch for this team, but it's a game that I really felt like they could have won. And like I said in the last segment, we've seen so many games this year where they've just lost so stupidly. And to have this one where it's like, oh, you know what? One of the best guys in baseball beat you. So on, so be it. But today was a day where, once Burns kind of like calmed down and got kind of back in his groove, you feel like the Reds had an advantage. The Reds are down 4-0. They put 4 runs together to take the lead. It's 5-4. You think, okay, that should be a game that they win. Even in the later innings, they had opportunities. They had guys on base, and they just couldn't bring them in. They left 7 guys on base today. And I'm not going to say that's unacceptable. It's just kind of something you should look at when they have a 1-run loss, especially in a game like this where they battle back to what they did. Runners in scoring position, they were fine today. 3 of 8. I can live with that. So it just was a day that just things didn't go their way. But I don't know how this goes from here. I will point a couple things out here. Like just going down the line. Ellie today, 2 for 5. Obviously, like we said, scored from first base. I know he struck out his last 2 at bats, but Cade Smith is awesome. We mentioned Sal Stewart. Nathaniel Lowe goes 2 for 4, and then Ivan Johnson gets the pinch run for him. Which, like, if Tyler Stevenson has the at bat he had earlier in the game with Ivan Johnson, right there with Ivan Johnson on first, we're playing extra innings right now, and we're having a different conversation. Tyler Stevenson goes 2 for 4 today with a hit, really up in that trade value. Dane Myers 2 hits today, including a swinging bunt, which I'm not the biggest fan of normally, but that was pretty cool. Edwin Arroyo does not have his best day, does go 1 for 4 and scores a run. And then TJ Friedel brings his OPS down to 505. 505 is not exactly the fact the Reds have 3 guys right now with an OPS under 540. Yowza, that's crazy. That is not promising. That's something you don't want to see from your team by any stretch. Let's talk about the bullpen real quick before we get out of here. Like I said, Brock Burke goes out there and has an inning. Pierce Johnson has a good inning. Sam Moll. And then Chase Petty kept it close. Gave the Reds a chance to kind of go out there in the 9th inning if they could put together and take a win. But Cade Smith is the leader in the majors and saves for a reason, because he likes that opportunity and he crushes with it. So unfortunately, the Reds are losers this afternoon. But I always say the beauty of baseball is you have a chance to go back at it tomorrow, but actually we have a chance to go back at it tonight, as the Reds are losers this afternoon to the Cleveland Guardians 6-5. The Guardians have 6 runs on 9 hits and no errors. The Reds have 5 runs on 11 hits and no errors. Your winning pitcher is Colin Holderman. He is 6-2 with a 1.76 ERA. Sam Moll is your loser. He is 1-7 with a 4.43 ERA. And Cade Smith picks up his 30th save of the season. Important to note that if the Guardians do in fact win tonight, they'll officially have clinched the Ohio Cup this year. So the trophy will be going back to Progressive Field and their side of the spring training complex in Arizona for whenever baseball's played again next year. But the Reds are back at it here tonight in just a little bit at 7:10. And Caleb Ferguson will be getting the start for the Reds as a bullpen day. He is 1-0 with a 3.86 ERA. He'll be going against Gavin Williams, who is 10-5 with a 3.78. First pitch is at 7:10. So you'll see me a little later, probably about 10 or so. But I am excited because I don't really work a whole lot of double headers. So I'll be back tonight. Everyone, thank you so much. I'm Tim Daniel. Go Reds. I guess I'll see you in a bit.